Here we on Sundays we go over the Koran Questionnaire. All right, we go over questions from it. We open up the floor to questions, dealing with the questions from the questionnaire, and then we also open up the floor to questions in general. So if you do have any questions, I just ask that you hold them until towards the end of the meeting, and we will make sure to get to them. And let's go ahead and get things started up. All right. All meetings are to be open and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. I ask that all Moors who are able to please rise and face the east as we recite the Moorish American prayer together in unison. And as we stand facing the east with our heels together, feet at a 45-degree angle, right? Like you're standing on the square. We're holding up 2 fingers on the right and then 5 on the left. And please repeat after me. Allah, the Father of the universe,
Allah, the Father of the universe,
Father of love,
Father of love,
truth,
truth,
peace,
peace,
freedom,
freedom,
and justice.
and justice.
Allah is my protector,
Allah is my protector,
my guide,
my God,
and my salvation
and my salvation,
by night and by day,
by night and by day,
through his holy prophet,
through his holy prophet,
Drew Ali.
through Ali.
Amen.
Amen.
All right, Islam Moors, I want to announce that this meeting is now open. This is the Moorish Science Temple of America, Temple 30, Columbus, Ohio. First and foremost, here we always rise, giving the highest of praise to our Creator, our Sustainer, the Most High, our Father, God, Allah, to whom praise only is extended to Him. We also extend honors to our divine prophet, Noble Drew Ali, for bringing us our divine creed and our nationality so that we may learn to love instead of hate. We also extend honors to the forerunner to the prophet, modern day John the Baptist, and that is our brother Marcus Mosiah Garvey. We extend honors to the Moorish and the American flags, and we extend honors to the Charter and its 10 wonders. We extend honors also to the first appointed Supreme Grand Sheikh, appointed by the prophet, and that's our brother Emily Ill. And we extend honors to all the faithful, all members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Lastly, we extend honors to the office of Supreme Grand Sheikh and Supreme Grand Council of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Islam Moors, Brother Jackson Bey, would you please read our divine constitution and bylaws?
Islam, Grand Sheikh, I rise giving all praise to Allah, honors to the Prophet Ali, honors to the forefathers and foremothers, and honors to the Asiatic nation and the Muslims all over the world. Salvation, Allah, unity, the Moorish Science Temple of America, the Divine Constitution and Bylaws. Act 1. The Grand Sheikh and Chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America is empowered to make law and enforce law with the assistance of the Prophet and the Grand Body of the Moorish Science Temple of America. The assistant Grand Sheikh is to assist the Grand Sheikh in all affairs if he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and it is known before the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Act 2. All meetings are to be open and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest because on a Friday, the first man was formed in flesh, and on a Friday, the first man departed out of flesh and ascended unto his Father God Allah. For that cause, Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. No member is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister, because Allah is love. Act 4. All members must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all members must obey the laws of the government, because by being a Moorish American, you are part and partial of the government and must live a life accordingly. Act 5. This organization of the Moorish Science Temple of America is not to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the state government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are part and parcel of this same government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national names to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become part and parcel of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Members must pay their dues and keep allowing for necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Then you're entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, through the guidance of his Father God, Allah. Noble Drew Ali, founder, Moorish American prayer. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my God, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, Drew Ali. Amen. The Moorish Science Temple of America, home office of Noble Drew Ali, home office, Chicago, Illinois, USA. Islam, Islam, Islamism, peace and love.
Islam, gratitude, brother. All right, Islam. Brother Cole Bay, if you would please read our writs from the Prophet.
Islam, Grand Sheikh, I rise and give perfect praise to the great God Allah. Rise and give honor to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Rise and give honors to the forerunner Marcus Messiah Garvey. Rise and give honors to our charter. Rise and give honors to all ills and bays, all mosques on the call and on the planet. To be proclaimed in every meeting. Islam, I am glad to know I have a few faithful Moors among you all, and I desire for them to know the truth and the divine truth. There is a host of jealousy about me and the movement now by the same people of our side of the nation that claimed that I was a joke and unreal. But now, since they found out from the government officials and the nations of the earth that this is the only sole foundation that all Asiatics must depend upon for their earthly salvation as American citizens, they are working every scheme that they can to disqualify me so they may take charge of the situation. I have notified all these things to you long ago in the past. It is through the faithful Moors that attribute to the movement and uplifting funds. The ones that pay their divine respects to me and the movement will be remembered. That is why I'm calling upon all faithful Moors to increase their faithfulness to me, your prophet, and your divine Moorish movement. I need finance, and I need it badly. Never before have I need finance so badly as I do at present, so I can shove aside the discord that is facing the nation. It all comes through jealousy because of my fame and nobility. The nations of the world will not recognize the movement without either prophet being head. It has been proven by my work, which I have performed in the past few years. Prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Prophet warns all Muslims to be read at every meeting. I hereby inform all members they must end all radical speeches while at work, in their homes, or on the street. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans that cause confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be a severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom. And when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings towards the temple or the prophet, or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement, will receive their rewards from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card and button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet Noble Drew Ali, and the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out a divine plea to all Moorish Americans. They do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways. Peace, Noble Drew Ali. To the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Islam, this is instruction from your prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Be faithful to your forefather, divine and national creed, that you will be blessed for your good deeds that you sow in the flesh. Allah is the one that judges the world, and his judgment is on now, but the weak can comprehend it not. The end of times are drawing near, so says Allah, through his divine prophet, I Noble Drew Ali, and that is why many hearts have turned to stone. Many have eyes to see, but cannot see, ears to hear, but cannot hear, lest they'll be confounded of their sins. These are the trying hours, not dear more, and every evil spirit is moving, and they are trying every weak mind to overthrow and drag out the true foundation that has been laid, and to cause confusion in the minds of the ones that do believe. But if you have the true love of Allah and the spirit of your forefathers, you fear not what you hear or see, but will sacrifice the utmost of your very life to protect your movement and your prophet. Watch your enemies, dear Moors. Your enemies are the ones that speak against your prophet and ridicule him to the very lowest, and the ones that speak against your divine and national principles of your temples. Act accordingly, and Allah will bless you for your good work. Peace, your divine prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Islam, Islam, Islamism. Happy Sunday School, Mafia.
Islam, brother, and gratitude. Sister Lachey L, if you're able to, would you please read our additional laws?
Islam. I rise to give all praise to the great Father God Allah. Give honors to the Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali. I give honors to Marcus Messiah Garvey. I give honors to all Muslims on the call and all Muslims around the world. Questionnaire and additional laws for the Moorish Americans by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Act 1. Grand sheikhs and governors and heads of all temples, all business. Each said temple must be approved by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Before acted upon by any members, let it be finance, property, or any line of life that will cause members to sacrifice finance, etc., that will cause the support of any group of members. Any former officer that violates these laws is subject to be removed from his office under a heavy restriction, etc., by the prophet or the grand sheikh. Act 2. All members are to attend their adept meetings and their public meetings promptly. If a member is found standing around on their meeting period, shall be fined 50 cents on the first case, and on the second, he will be fined $1, which will go on your emergency fund. If member is working, his monthly dues must be paid, and if he has money in the bank, he must subscribe for as much as he is able to the Moorish uplifting funds, because it takes finance to uplift the nation. Act 3. It is the lawful and divine duty of every good member, if he is able in finance, to aid me in saving the nation. And if he does not, he is an enemy to the cause of uplifting his own people, and justice must catch you. Let it be he or she according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, as I have the power invested in my hands, and I would have to enforce the law in order to save the nation. Act 4. All members, while making a public speech, must not use any assertion against the American flag or speak radical against the church or any member of any organized group, because we're to teach love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Act 5. All members must promptly attend their meetings and send their children to Sunday school, and the teacher must confirm himself to the questionnaire. And let every member exercise his 5 senses who is able to do so, because out from your Sunday school comes the guiders of the nation. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we're teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, Black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and a parcel of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious to become part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and mind pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, through the guidance of his father God, Allah. Islam. Happy Sunday School, Muslims.
All right, Islam and gratitude, sister. Let's go ahead and move into our Koran questionnaire, Moors. Want to do our best to keep our meeting timely, so let's keep things moving forward. So yeah, we're in the questionnaire. Last time we left off at question 42. So we're gonna go in and go just over a couple questions. These questions 43 through 46 dealing with Jesus. All right. On the forefront, or just looking over these questions, it can be, very simple, easy to overlook it, right? But if we just look at it like that and just take it, literally, like at what age did Jesus begin to teach? At the age of 12. Where did he teach? India, Africa, and Europe. How long did he teach? 18 years. What did Jesus say that would make you free? Truth. So very simple, very easy, quick. We go over it. If we just take it literally, don't really put any thought into it, it does nothing for you. We don't want to do that. So we want to explore the deeper spiritual meaning behind Jesus' teachings, his earthly ministry. We want to understand the metaphysical principles that he taught, because even just these questions. Now, remember, as Moorish Americans, we don't just call the questions from the Koran Questionnaire questions. We call them keys. All right, these are keys. Remember, in our Quran, right, the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, they're divine instructions from the Holy Prophet. So we have these divine instructions that secure our earthly and spiritual salvation, right? Our earthly and divine salvation. And so within the Quran Questionnaire, we have keys. Keys to what? Keys to the kingdom. So we want to look at this, understand it, see what is spiritually, what it's telling us, and then apply it to our daily lives. So if we're not getting the practical lessons from this, it's not doing anything for you. There's really no point in being here, right? So we want to get the real power that's in it. We want to learn how to apply this in our lives, and we want it to be practical. Not something that's all far out there that we can't even use. So let's go back in here. 43. Starting with 43. And we want to understand or remember too, like with these keys, right? Especially these, right? It's we want to understand how it applies to you and me personally. Because what we're doing here, we want to encourage us to reflect on how the keys in here actually apply to our daily life. Right? And so, starting off at age 12. At what age did Jesus begin to teach? At the age of 12. We don't want to just say it and call it and repeat it, right? With the question and answer. Where did he teach? India, Africa, and Europe. Question 45. How long did he teach? 18 years. Question 46. What did Jesus say that will make you free? Truth. All right. We got that part. Okay. So what does this mean? At question 43, at what age did Jesus begin to teach? We've spoken about this several times, about the significance of 12. At the age of 12, right? So 12 is a symbolic number, and it's symbolic of spiritual completeness and also divine order. So we want to hang on, Morris, hang on. So going back to this, so 12 symbolic for spiritual completeness and divine order. So that's one way to understand this, right? So when, speaking about 12, not necessarily really talking about a number of years, but just, on a practical level, looking at that at the age of 12, Jesus was already prepared to begin his divine mission, right? He's already teaching, and the age is signifying the beginning of spiritual maturity, right? When one is actually ready to seek deeper understanding and truth. All right. And just saying that 12 symbolically is spiritual completeness and divine order. That's what, when you see the 12 tribes of Israel, right? How many disciples did Jesus have? 12 disciples, right? I believe we also have 12 cranial nerves in our brain, right? So there's symbolism in it, and it's very real. At 12, Jesus had already reached a point of readiness, a point of balance, where he's ready to serve as a channel for divine wisdom, a channel. Because remember, and from our perspective now, getting into the real lessons, because in the Bible, in the scriptures, Jesus tells everyone they're all sons of God, sons of the Most High, right? Not just him, right? He tells the people, if you have the faith of a mustard seed, you can do the things that he's done, right? You can do even greater than what he's accomplished. So we all want to be channels for divine wisdom. So this age is signifying the awakening of the Christ consciousness within each of us. It's not even about being 12 years of age, right? So this is something that's supposed to be symbolic. And it signifies that Christ consciousness rising in each and every one of us, where we begin to seek spiritual truth, right? Where we're starting to embrace our purpose. We all have a higher purpose, even if we're not even interested in living it and pursuing it. That doesn't mean that that person who's not interested right now won't do it later on, right? So whenever we start that journey, right, to begin to awaken that Christ consciousness, that's Jesus at the age of 12, because the Jesus is in each and every one of us, the Christ consciousness. All right. Moving on to, and also the age isn't really important, necessarily. When we look at the Quran, the Holy Quran of Mecca, Surah 31, verse 12 is talking about Luqman, how he's being granted wisdom and he's advising his son to give thanks to Allah. And the thing is, wisdom it's a gift, right? And it's recognized early. It's meant to be shared, just like Jesus' teachings at 12, right? So that even the age, isn't as important as the symbolism of it, right? Also, when we look in the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary, 12 symbolizes spiritual governance. So when Jesus began to teach at 12, that's indicating the beginning of mastery over the physical, over the mental, and the spiritual realms. All right, spiritual governance, right? Exercising mastery over lower self. And this is important to understand too, because remember, each one of these keys is supposed to be able to be applied to us. If we're not understanding how it applies to us, we're not really getting the message that the prophet put in here for us, right? Because, that age for Jesus' teaching, that's the period of spiritual awakening. That's the coming of age in many cultures, actually. So from a metaphysical perspective, that 12 is the number of divine order and also of completeness. And in numerology, it's also representing cosmic laws. It's also representing the alignment of spiritual energies. We have the 12 signs of the zodiac. How many months are there in a year? And then I said the 12 cranial nerves that link the mind to the entire body. So this is spiritual awakening. This is completeness. This is divine order. And it's in the universe. It's in the stars, but it's also in our own body. And so for us to have this understanding now we can see things from a greater perspective and know that it's all connected. So this Jesus teaching at that age, that's readiness to step into his own divine mission. But for each and every one of us, we all have certain points in our journey, especially in our spiritual journey, where we are called to seek the truth and to become active, even to start sharing it with others. So within this lesson, at what age did Jesus begin to teach? Even just to look at our own lives, to reflect on our own lives. Like, when were we first aware? When did we start becoming aware of a higher purpose or of a spiritual path? Right? and then to use that to reflect, to make sure that we're embracing our role, right? The divine path that we have, make sure that we're staying on that path, right? We don't want to sway from the path, because as it says here in 46, Jesus said, truth will make you free. Truth is aught, and aught is a lie. Truth cannot change nor pass away. So when we're on that true path, there's no point in swaying. We're not going backwards. We're not getting pulled to the other side, right? And in today's world, that concept of the early spiritual awakening is often overlooked because people wait until later in life, just, before they start looking for, deeper spiritual meaning. Like a lot of people, they get old and then, okay, now I'm gonna go to church. Right now I'm gonna go to the temple. But the lesson we get from Jesus is to start it early. It's a call to action for all of us right now. So if you're here and you listen to this, yeah, I'm cool with the more stuff, but I'm really just like trying to get out of something. I'm really just trying to make it where I don't have to drive with a license or something like that. But it's like, okay, you got something that's calling you to a greater purpose, right? But then you also got this earthly lower self stuff calling you. It's like, look, man, come all the way in. Don't try to wait until you on your deathbed. Like, yeah, now I'm going to try to get right. Because I'm about to get up out of here. You're getting old or something like that. No, it's never too early. Now, it's also never too late. Not saying it's too late at a certain time. Just saying it's never too early to come in and start embodying truth. It's never too soon to awaken to our divine purpose. We don't ever want to look at it like that, or think you got time, because you don't know when you're going to check up out of here. And if we don't figure things out here, if we don't figure out the truth now that we're connected to the Creator and start moving in our true path now, guess what? You're still going to be lost on the other side. You're still going to have to figure stuff out. So we don't want to go backwards. We have no desire to go backwards at all. There's no draw in going backwards. Nothing appealing about it. So moving on to question 44, talking about where did he teach? Where did he teach? India, Africa, and Europe. Once again, all of these lessons are things that can be applied to our own life. So we want to understand, what this is really saying. How does this apply to me? So looking at this, like it's, saying, okay, Jesus taught in India, Africa, and Europe, which on one hand, this is something that kind of been kept back from the people. A lot of people don't even think like that. They definitely not thinking that Jesus taught in India, even though when you go to India, there are actually churches, like some of the first Christian churches in the world, where there's even one where I believe they have a tomb for one of the disciples of Jesus. And it's in India. And it's like, who knew about this, right? So yeah, Jesus really did. I mean, I know some people may think he wasn't a real person, but nah, this stuff really actually did happen. But we're not even worried about that. We're looking at the deeper spiritual message that's for all of humanity. So his mission, when it's saying it's just at a basic level, India, Africa, and Europe, these are different regions of the world. They're not even countries. Africa has a whole, like 50 some nations in it now, but these are regions, entire regions of the world. So the mission that he had wasn't confined to one people. It wasn't even confined to one region. It wasn't just confined to his people, his bloodline, right? The travels that he went through show that the message he had was universal, right? It was divine love. It was for all of humanity. That's another thing to remember here, India, Africa, and Europe. So for us as Moorish Americans, remember, like we not standing on hatred, right? We're not against anyone. At the end of the day, even though there are some portions of this message that the prophet came specifically for us to help us get our act together and get out of the conditions we're in, at the end of the day, this message is actually universal. And if we follow our prophet's instructions, we will be leaders, uplifting fallen humanity. We will be teaching just like Jesus was, right? Even at a young age, teaching at 12, we will be teaching the world. Everyone sitting and learning from the Moors. And so when you look at that too, India and Africa and Europe, they're also representing different aspects of consciousness, right? Because Jesus is teaching in these different places. And Jesus, remember, he was representing this universal Christ consciousness, this Christ principle. The Christ was a title. So he's representing this awakened consciousness. And he's spreading this message that transcends all the borders, all the cultural and geographic boundaries. It goes beyond that, right? And it signifies the journey of the soul through these different stages of development and learning, right? So it's not confined to one place. When we look in the Holy Quran of Mecca, Surah 2, verse 177, this surah is highlighting, right, righteousness as being beyond the confines of place or tradition. So it's about a deeper truth that connects all of humanity. And all of this is mirrored. We see this in Jesus' journey across the different lands. It connects all of humanity. It's the truth. And so those regions also, they're symbolizing the journey of the soul. It's seeking wisdom, love, and understanding. And it's going across all these different states of consciousness, right? So that Christ consciousness must be recognized. It must be recognized. I'm combining words. Realized, recognized, right? And it has to be recognized universally. So this is a universal message, right? We see that. It's India, Africa, and Europe, but this is a universal message, man. It transcends boundaries. All right. And the truth doesn't change or pass away. It doesn't depend on whose perspective, right? So for us to understand that, just keep that in mind. At the end of the day, this is actually for all of humanity. All right. There are no divisions for race and culture and ideology, even though they do, exist physically. The truth knows no boundaries. So Moorish Americans have to remember, we have to embrace the concept of unity, right? We have to respect and learn from different cultures, but we must maintain our own divine heritage, right? And as we get ourselves together, then we will become the ambassadors of truth. Then it will be on us to bridge the gaps and to unite humanity and under the divine principles, right? Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. So we have to be living by it. Our communities have to be, living off of those principles, right? Ruled by those principles. So that's really the only way we can teach the world is by our actions, not really by our, words that we speak. And then also it says, how long did he teach? And then the answer is 18 years. So I had the measure in here about the time period, right? Jesus' ministry lasted 18 years. And he's guiding humanity towards enlightenment, right? Spreading spiritual knowledge, wisdom. The number 18 is 1 plus 8 plus 9. 1 plus 8 that equals 9, right? And 9 symbolizes completion and fulfillment. So once again, we're going back to completion or fulfillment, divine order, because 12 in and of itself is symbolizing divine order, right? Completion. So Jesus' mission was to bring about this spiritual awakening and the completion of divine understanding. Islam, hang on. All right. So it's bringing about this completion, fulfillment, that whole entire period, right? 18, 1 plus 8 equals 9. That's the fullness of life. That's the transformation process that's occurring. And it happens over time as we deepen our connection with truth. So, we don't want to glance over anything, even just the numbers in there. We want to look in and understand what this is signifying to us. When we look in the Charles Fillmore's Metaphysical Bible Dictionary, it says 18 can represent a cycle of growth and initiation. The teaching period signifies the unfolding of divine purpose over a complete cycle of understanding. So each year is representing deeper layers of wisdom. All right. And we understand that Allah speaks to man through the heart. In Surah of the Holy Quran of Mecca, in Surah 6, verse 125, it says, well, it's speaking about Allah opening one's heart to Islam. It's speaking about Jesus teaching over 18 years and how it's about guiding the heart towards truth, patience, and perseverance. All right? Truth, patience, and perseverance. And by embodying those qualities, we're opening ourselves up to truth. Now that's leading right into question 46. What did Jesus say that would make you free? Truth. Really simple. Also another one easy to overlook, but it's a lot deeper than that. And we don't want to gloss over anything because we know these are the keys to the kingdom. All right. So looking back at that, just understanding that a lot of us, or in modern times, people seek this instant gratification. We want quick solutions, even when it comes to spiritual matters, because, it's YouTube, it's all this stuff. You can get everything all quick. But that length of time, that 18 years for Jesus' ministry, that's teaching us the importance of perseverance. Remember? And that same message is in the Quran, right? The Holy Quran of Mecca. We're just speaking about that. So for us as Moorish Americans, we want to remember to consistently be consistent in our striving to understand and to embody the principles of Islam, right? It's taught to us by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. We want to, be consistent over time. We don't want to falter. We want to stay the course, because spreading the teachings over time, right? The 18 years, we recognize that the impact of the work that we do, just as Jesus did, because we're all supposed to be the Christ, the impact of our work is not always going to be immediate. Sometimes we're just planting little seeds, right? Even in the way that we communicate to people. You can't come out at people and just hit them with all these things, that you've been studying, because it may go over their head. It may turn them off. You may have to just plant seeds. It may take time, right? So it requires dedication, even over the long term, to be able to see things through to the end and to stay the course, right? Don't give up. Okay? Jesus dedicated 18 years, right? How many of us are in it for that? But in persevering, now the truth is revealed. So what did Jesus say will make you free? And that's the truth. That's the freedom. That message of freedom through truth is universal, right? Because the truth is going to destroy ignorance. It's going to destroy illusions, right? Truth can break the chains that's binding our minds, right? So when we embrace truth, we can liberate ourselves from mental and spiritual bondage. But the truth isn't just simply the physical stuff. Oh yeah, we the Moors, right? Because the real truth is our true nature, that we're neither the soul nor the physical body. We're spirit and one with Allah. So the truth actually represents the highest principle. It's the ultimate reality, and that ultimate reality is what transcends material illusions. Remember, this world actually is an illusion. Not saying that it's fake, it's unreal, don't worry about it now. Just saying it's illusion because it's going to pass away. So we're in a world of deception and material distractions. So this truth is the light that guides us to freedom. And the truth isn't going to be just like on TV, on commercials, right? It's not always, it's going to be found like on the internet and promoted. It's just not. So, we're going to have to persevere and be consistent to receive this truth, because for the most part, this truth is coming from within. Islam, hang on 1 second, Morris. Islam. But just, being understanding, knowing that we're in a world where there's material distractions, right? It's a world of deception. That truth is that's the true light. That's what guides us to freedom. So the statement Jesus saying, the truth will make you free, that's actually, speaking on the eternal quest for self-realization, for spiritual freedom, right? Not what anyone else is talking about, the truth, our true nature, returning to the creator, right? Unfolding the higher self in man. We must always remember this, keep this in mind, and no matter what we're doing, remember our true nature, right? Another reference from the Holy Quran of Mecca, Surah 24, Ayah 35, right? Now, this verse is often referred to as the light verse because it speaks of Allah as the light of the heavens and the earth. And what is that light? That light is the truth. It's the divine light. And that divine light is what illuminates our path. It's what dispels darkness, and it's what sets us free. This divine light, right? The truth. Also, looking in the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary, truth is synonymous with Christ consciousness. It's a state of divine knowledge and wisdom, and it exists within each person. Once again, it's not something that's, not in video games. It's not being promoted to us. It's within. This is why we consistently promote and encourage Moors to start meditating. At least once a day, get you some quiet time, and don't close your eyes and start thinking about all this other stuff that's going on or whatever. You got plenty of time to do that. That's what you do all day. We're always dealing with stuff. So take a little bit of time to quiet your mind. Maybe just focus on breathing. Breathing in 10 seconds, breathing out 10 seconds. If you could do that, you could breathe in 15 seconds, breathe out for 15 seconds. If you're doing that, you're only taking 2 breaths a minute. And if you can do that, you can work your way up to breathing in for 30 seconds and breathing out for 30 seconds. Now, I'm not saying you need to do that all fast or anything, but you could work your way up to that, because once you work your way up to just 1 breath a minute, you've now altered your consciousness to the point where, meditating and connecting to your higher self is going to be very much easier. So I'm saying, let's start practicing this if we're not doing this already. For real. Quiet time. Meditate. Why? Because the truth is within. It's not saying that there's not good information in books and stuff like that out there, but it's just like this. Like, say, for example, say we do this holy day, we do this Sunday school, and you're listening, but you like watching TV, or you're not really paying attention, and it's just like blah, 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 blah. You can't wait until I'm done. Guess what? This ain't doing nothing for you. It's just words. That doesn't mean the stuff that we're trying to share here isn't true. It just means it's doing nothing for you. So you want to apply this. You want to start at least meditating once a day, doing some quiet time, so that you can see that you really do have connection to this divine truth that's within. It really does exist within each person. All right? So, nobody else can get it for you. Jesus can't get it for you. The prophet can't get it for you. He gave you the tools and the instructions. Now you got to apply it. We all have to. So that freedom that we get from the truth, that means awakening to the true nature, the truth, which is the reality, which is our divine nature, and the spirit. And spirit is beyond the physical. So we're overcoming these illusions that keep us bound, right? The illusion that you're just a human being. The illusion that you're just a physical person. Is it time to eat yet? It's time to eat. I'm hungry. I need a snack. I got to go to the bathroom. I need to take a nap, right? That's not, you're more than that. I'm not saying don't do those things. I'm just saying there's more to this than that. So we're coming to transcend that. And that's what this truth is that would make us free. This is why, in the stories, in the scriptures, Jesus would not have feared death. Okay? And now it goes beyond just that, just saying not fear death, but just saying because of awareness of the true nature. And if in the implication in not fearing death will mean that you're not being ruled by fear. In this world, most of humanity is enslaved by fear, right? We're being enslaved by fear, fear of lack, fear of war, crime, whatever, fear of losing, not having enough money, right? Fear and then you have the other things that come into play through fear, just like jealousy, envy, right? All of these things come from our lower nature. So we want to transcend that. We want to connect to our higher nature. It's beyond those lower emotions. All of that stuff is tied to the body. It's all tied to the physical, carnal nature, the body's consciousness. It's limited. So we want to begin to transcend beyond that. Even some of us that might think, hey, I'm doing good. We still have these lower emotions sometimes that rule over us. And that's the thing. So a lot of times we don't even realize we're acting out of these lower emotions, right? Why do we want to come? Why do I have to go and put this person down? I got to put him in his place, put her in her place, remind them of how stupid they are. Remind them, right? We do those things because we are ruled by fear. It's not because you really have to prove that you're right and that you're smarter or better. We do those things because we're ruled by fear. And so we want to transcend it. We really want to live and offer the divine principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, where all of our thoughts, deeds, and actions, even our thoughts, right, fall within these divine principles. None of us, I doubt there's anyone here in this meeting at all that can say, hey, all of our thoughts, deeds, and actions fall within the bounds of righteousness, right? So none of us could be up here looking down on anyone or acting like we're superior, right? So, but what we want to do now is begin to recognize when we're acting out of these lower principles, right? When we're acting out of this lower carnal nature, so that we can begin the process of correcting ourselves on the spot, not needing to be pointed out by someone else, right? So the prophet included these lessons, these keys in here, right? On one hand, because yes, in 1928, the Moorish Americans needed to reawaken to their true identity. They needed, to come into their true selves, their spiritual heritage, right? And so understanding the teachings of Jesus, right? When he began to teach, where he taught, right? The lessons that's in our Holy Koran or the Moorish Science Temple of America. Of course, seeing that from a Moorish perspective, that's vital. That's important for reclaiming our self-knowledge, right? And our dignity, right? So historically, yeah, that affected the people back then in the 1920s. But it also has relevance today in modern times, right? Because the need for truth now is even greater than it was then. We live in an age of misinformation. We live in an age of spiritual confusion. We even live in an age of identity crisis with just simple stuff that even a toddler could tell you about an identity, about who they are. We have a crisis now. People don't know who they are. I don't know. I can't even get into all that stuff, but you probably know what I'm talking about, right? So it's all super confusing for no reason at all. So now people are struggling with simple stuff, the basics, right? And at the rate that that's going at, the rate that they want, the people who push and promote this stuff want humanity to be so confused that they are struggling with the basics. Ain't no way that those people are going to realize their true nature, that they are one with Allah and be as great as they could possibly be. They don't even know who they are, right? So there's so much misinformation out there, right? And so these teachings that the truth will set you free is powerful. It's a reminder that true freedom, right, begins within. These principles of, unity, of self-knowledge, and spiritual enlightenment, they're more important now than ever. We need it now more than ever, right? Because we want to embody these principles of truth in our daily lives, right? For Moorish Americans, we want to raise the Christ consciousness within us. It's a call that we all have. We spoke on the call on Holy Day, right? Didn't we just speak on that? We were in chapter 18 and we spoke on the call. What happened? What was the call that happened? Did Adon Mashich Kumi, which meant Lord Jesus arise. It says it in here twice in chapter 18, which means pay attention. It's not good enough just to put it in there once. And then they heard again, Adon Mashich Kumi, right? And then the white robe form tramped on the Roman seal. We spoke about that Roman seal. What was the Roman seal? That was representing earthly dominion, right? Earthly governance. Like, look, we put that seal on here. Don't you dare break that. You break that, it means death. But we know that death is neither, death is not an enemy to man. But you put that on there to scare the lower self back into, back in check. Like, hey, you're up under our governance. So the white robe form tramped the Roman seal and tore it into shreds. Through the stone is keeping us blockaded from understanding the truth. Just threw it like a pebble from the brook, right? Cast it to the side. So this is important to understand the symbolism behind all that. So that call to rise, we all must heed that call. You cannot ignore it. Even if you're just here, even if you're not even understanding everything that's being said, you're here. You're going to understand it. You're going to understand it way more than you think you are, right? Because it's going to be real for you because you're going to actually open your third eye and you're going to awaken that Christ consciousness within, and you are going to know that you are connected to the divine, and not because you read it or heard somebody else say it. It's because it's going to be awakened in you fully. And you're going to know that this mission that we have is real. So when the prophet is saying that we are here to uplift fallen humanity, you know that these are not just words. And you also have confidence that we can do it because Allah really is within us. So we really are here to be the strength of Allah made manifest. And we wouldn't be here if this task was too hard for us to do. Nah, this is nothing for us. We're going to do it. So that's why we're here. And so we want to understand this. And that's why, again, I'm going to say this again, because this needs to be repeated every time. Meditate, Moors. At least, look, in the morning, right? I would say if you have time, but really everybody has time to meditate. But, if you have time, set aside at least 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes. You don't even need to do more than 20, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, quieting the mind, cutting off the distractions. Some of us, we like to have TV going, music going, on the phone scrolling, all these things going at once. We're not really paying attention really to anything really well, but we just like to have all them distractions and noise and stuff. But it's cool. Do that. That's you. But for that 15 minutes, cut it all off, right? Get that radiation away from you. Because, the phone gives out all these radiation, electromagnetic frequencies. Get all that stuff away. Cut it off and quiet your mind, at least 10 minutes, 10, 15, 20 minutes a day. All right. And if you're doing that and you get used to that, now do it twice a day, when you wake up and before you go to bed, and when you're comfortable doing that, work it up to 3 times a day. But I'm saying this for real. Don't walk away from this just without even just trying. Start meditating. All right. I want to ask, for everybody to start doing this so that we know that these keys in here aren't talking about some Jesus from way back then. They're talking about us, you, right now, wherever you live at, however old or young you are, right? Don't matter if you're 12 years old, right? You could be 61 years old, 12 years, who cares? It's speaking to each and every one of us. So just on a, everyday basis, we want to start, making sure that we're meditating. Why? Because we want to practice and start putting effort into connecting to our higher divine nature. Why? Because that is truth. And truth is what will set you free. Truth is art. Art is Allah. So truth is we want to go to our true nature, right? We want to put that, make that a daily thing. All right. And as we do that, we will begin to have deeper understanding of these lessons. All right. And how it really does apply to you. So, going back into this, as we wrap this up, we just want to understand that these keys, they're not just here, just something that sounds nice, right? The truth will make you free. It's not just something that sounds good. It's actually a profound statement. This truth isn't just factual information, historical information. Oh, the Moors were over here before, the European. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, great. We've been knowing that for years. And what, like, where are Moorish towns, right? Where are our Moorish, farms and all this stuff we need, right? So the factual knowledge, the historical knowledge, that stuff's great. It's not to say that we don't need to understand it, write books about it, have schools teaching this stuff to our own children and stuff. Yeah, we should have it. But that's not it. It's not just factual information. The truth that will make us free, because that stuff didn't free us. People been teaching that stuff for decades now. Teaching it, making videos about it and everything. So that didn't free us, right? The truth that will make you free is the ultimate reality, and that is the understanding of who we are, our divine nature, and our connection to Allah. And if we don't understand how that truth will set us free, then we don't know what the truth is. Because the truth, knowing that you know thyself and your Father God Allah, knowing that Allah is within you, the higher self, is spirit and one with Allah, that you have no limitations, that there's nothing that can stop you, that you always have access to the answer, to the solution, that strips away all the illusions. There's no falsehood, there's no limitation that can keep us bound. There is no enemy. That means that you can't be oppressed. How can you be oppressed when you have physically, mentally and spiritually realized for real, not just from hearing about it and talking about it, but when you've activated that connection that you have to Allah? Right? When it's no longer this little still small voice that a lot of times we don't even hear it. We don't even recognize it. So once we start strengthening that connection, there is nothing that can stop us. There's nothing anywhere that can hold us back. There's nothing that can oppress Allah. Period. Point blank. There's no force on earth strong enough to suppress us, to hold us back. That's the truth that will set us free. It will turn us from being a people who's feeling like we're getting oppressed, like we're getting taken advantage of, into a people who are now the leaders of the world, into a people who now others look to for guidance, for leadership. Man, looking at us like, man, we need to get like those Moors. They are for real about this. We need to be more like them. We need to learn from them. It changes everything. All right? And so that's the truth that will set us free. It is impossible to hold those people back who have realized the lies within them. And so once again, that's not something that we get from reading. That's not something that someone can tell us. That is something that we must actually embody. We must use these divine instructions to do the work on ourselves, to conquer our own carnal nature, so that we're no longer only listening to our lower self, thinking we're doing a good job, right? Like the image on the screen, the higher self, we're not even hearing it. We're not even hearing it. So we have to do the work to subdue that lower self, to unfold Allah within us for real. And as we step towards truth, that's the key to spiritual liberation. And as the Prophet said, we're returning to Islam for our earthly and divine salvation, meaning earthly, everything that we need, taken care of. Right? He said earthly salvation. That's what most of us are thinking about and concerned with, right? Because we have physical earthly needs. It's all taken care of, Moors. right? As we pursue Allah, heaven and all of this stuff is opened up to us. Everything. So that means we will be stepping into prosperity. There will be no enemy that can conquer us. And as I was trying to say earlier, we will become the leaders and the teachers of the rest of the world. And that's how it has to be. That's how it's destined to be, because we fall into a low state where a lot of people would shun us. They would not look at us like, oh, yeah, they might like the music and, the way we dress and some things. They might copy that stuff, but they're not looking at us like, oh, yeah, these are, the educators. These are the builders, the architects. These are the ones. No, right? That's why we have to become those people, because we've fallen so low that they will want to follow us, because they say, wow, those people turned it around. I need to see what they're doing. We need to learn from them, man. Allah will take the people who have fallen to the lowest depths and turn them into the leaders of the world. And that is our destiny. That is why the prophet came to us. So all the illusions of the material world, fear, ignorance, and now false identities and confusion and all of that stuff binds us. It limits us. That's why it's being promoted so heavily now. When we seek and embrace the truth, now we see beyond the illusions. Now we recognize our true selves, and we see ourselves as reflections of divine light. This is extremely important in the modern world. We're in a world now where confusion and all this stuff is being promoted, not just to us as adults, but also to the children. But if they're armed with the truth, they see through all of it. None of it works. Plus, none of it is appealing. So in today's world, this misinformation and confusion is widespread. So that truth is needed now more than ever. So what the prophet did back in the 1920s, he planted the seed so that it could germinate, so that it could grow slowly over time, as much as needed, so that when it came to us in this fallen state right here, we can gravitate towards it and use it to empower ourselves, and to do it in a way that the entire world will see. This is why we had to be made a mockery of, why we had to fall to the point where we got our people, who's promoting killing and selling drugs like it's cool. And that stuff gets promoted to the whole world. People that don't even speak English, right? They all see it. Everybody does. Everybody associates us with ignorance and negativity. That had to get promoted to the world, so that when we're now changing and raising ourselves up on a positive level, instead of making it cool to be untrustworthy and somebody who's dangerous. It's cool to be a criminal and all this stuff. Now we're showing that it's cool to be on point, to be righteous, to be kind, to be loving, to take care of your family, instead of just making children all over the place and not even taking care of them. Right? Now we making it cool to be, a father or mother, to be, to be leaders in our society. Changing the whole thing. All of this stuff had to be played out for the whole world to see. So this truth that will make you free is even more important right here, right now. The whole entire world needs it, because we live in an age where the lines between truth and falsehood are blurred. The information is so easily manipulated, and people are swayed by the illusions because people are chasing material success. We have all these social media people, social media personas, and all this, external pressure on people that, it's people don't even know up from down, right from left. And that, once again, that binds people or binds people. It's spiritual and mental bondage, right? Binds you to this physical, carnal, lower self, because we're, stuck in falsehood, and it's only on us. No, this is our task. No one else is going to set this right. It's been to the point now where people don't even feel like they can embrace truth, because if they do, or if they say the wrong thing, it get canceled. I mean, you can get shut down, right? Your finances get cut off. So we have to come in and embrace truth and do it from love, like not attacking people, trying to put people down, but we have to reclaim our divine identity because that's the only way to do it, right? And then in doing this, now we're freeing ourselves from the binds, the mental and the spiritual shackles of ignorance, right? Self-doubt and fear. This is the only way to do it, Morris. And we're going to keep saying this, but we're going to lead the world. So in closing, just in practical measures, we want to be able to apply these spiritual lessons in our daily life. Right? We want to set aside time each day to reflect, even if it's just 2, 3, 4 minutes, to reflect on our actions and thoughts throughout the day. We want to ask ourselves if we're aligning with truth. We want to cultivate self-awareness. We want to be grounded in our spiritual purpose. We might think we're doing a good job, but especially if we're attacking people, if we're negative, we think we have to do this. I think I have to tell you this or do this. But in reality, we're acting out of fear and ignorance, not love. So we want to be able to reflect on ourselves on a daily basis to correct the course that we're going. We want to be able to, do that on a regular basis, everyday thing. So it's not like any of us are absolved from doing this. It's not like any of us can be like, oh, I don't have to do that. I'm perfect. Nah, we all have that, angel and demon on our shoulder because we all have a higher and lower self. So we want to make sure, hey, did we even recognize when we follow in the lower self? Am I acting out of love? No, I wasn't acting out of love. How many times today? Dang, 20 times. We want to be able to see where we went wrong so that we can correct ourselves. Because if Allah blesses us with another day, we don't want to keep doing the same thing. We want to strengthen our connection to higher self. So, this is why we do this on Sunday school and Holy Day to remind ourselves the correct path to take. But also, this isn't good enough, Moors. We all need to study the Quran. Of course, the Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. But if you can, I would advise even getting the Holy Quran of Mecca. Okay, or even, reading scriptures from the Bible, whatever, spiritual texts. But we want to do this so that we can look and remind ourselves of our true path. All right, we want to be able to, to study on our own as well so that we can make sure throughout the week we're on the right path, right? And then we want to be able to practice that, practice unity, practice respect, right? That we want to embrace diversity, right, of the truth. We know that the truth is universal. So we're not looking down on people from different backgrounds, other communities, just as Jesus taught in Europe, India, and Africa, right? We want to build bridges between different communities because the truth unites. Falsehood is what divides. And in this world today, it's like falsehood is rising up, all these divisions. And even like our people, you even see our own people, Moors, it tends to be, Moors that don't know that they Moors though, but they're spreading division too. Right? I mean, like online, it's just so much confusion. You see, Asiatics talking bad about Jamaicans and Nigerians and all this other stuff. And it's like, wow, it is so much confusion now. It's sometimes it's not easy to see, to be able to discern what's truth and falsehood. So you want to make sure that you're not entertaining any falsehood, that you're not putting that, like listening to that stuff because it's like a program. Especially if you're listening to it, right? What are you programming yourself with on a regular basis? There's another affirmation too, that you can say to yourself if you want to. I would encourage people to do this, like with those affirmations. I shared the one lady, Florence Scovel Shin. You could just look her up. They've got videos where you could just listen to these positive affirmations, but I would just like start the day off with the affirmation, a positive affirmation. Especially if you find yourself sometimes like arguing or fighting first thing in the day. It's just like, wow, You know, you just waking up with that demon in your ear and you're just acting off of it. So we want to not do that. We want to start the day off by affirming something positive, like affirming, say, for example, you start off the day by affirming, say, I am a manifestation of divine truth. And by telling yourself this or saying this to yourself throughout the day, starting the day off like this, like I'm free. I'm a manifestation of divine truth, right? Because truth is what sets you free. This is telling yourself, programming yourself which way to go. And this is you calling on your own self to connect, or your own mind to entertain the higher self, right? Instead of lower self. And we have to tell ourselves what to do. We have to give commands. Because think about it like this. If nobody's in command, if there's no decision maker there, who are you listening to? We have to make decisions. We can't just be like, oh, I don't know. I just throw the dice and just let it fall where it fall. Like, we can't just be, oh, I'm going to just go whichever way. Because guess what? Guess who's going to be the loudest? Guess who's going to be the loudest in your ear? And this would be the only thing you hear. Be telling you to do all types of stuff. Wicked stuff. Stuff that you don't even think is evil, because it's just little stuff that's based out of fear and ignorance, right? Don't seem that bad because we're not looking at it like that. We don't see it for what it is. So you can't just have nobody in command. Somebody has to be the authority for you, for me. Somebody has to. So mentally, in your mind, you can say it out loud if you want to, but in your mind, somebody has to be in control. Trust me, if you're not consciously thinking like that, it's all lower self. So we want to be able to do that. And that's a good thing to do, you know, to start off each day with the affirmation, right? You're telling yourself, you're programming yourself what to do. So maybe throughout the day, you're entertaining, you're listening to the higher instead of the lower. And that's a good practice to do, you know, just to, you know, something practical that we could all do on a regular basis. Because remember, Jesus said it's truth that will set you free. So we want to make sure that we're moving in truth. And on that note, Moors, I'm going to go ahead and yield the floor. If there's any further questions or comments, Moors, if anyone would like to demonstrate, please feel free to speak up. And on that note, I will go ahead and mute. You can go ahead and unmute if you have any questions or comments, Moors. Islam.
Hey, how's it going? My name is Jermaine. I was like a lot of stuff I learned. I don't know if it's the same. I read a lot of my stuff on it was the Koran English trans the English translation. I think it's the same though, but I'll end up reading it unfortunately being incarcerated, and then that's I for real start picking up getting to read a lot about it. And then like they was saying like Jesus was like, I was learning like Jesus was like a messenger like Muhammad, and then like they was high prophets. Like it's a like you were saying like wanna flood with a lot of knowledge, because a lot of stuff like ain't fully thoroughly read, but I'm that's why I'm trying to further my knowledge in it.
Islam, brother, if you were still speaking, it cut off.
Oh no, that was all I had to say. It was for real. When you question or it was just for more statement for real.
Islam, brother. One thing I would suggest doing is getting the Quran, the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. This was divinely prepared by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. So you can get one. Just go to moorishamericans.com. That's the website for our temple, and you can order one from there. And are you in Akron?
No, I'm in Cincinnati.
Okay, you're in Cincinnati. Yeah, you could order one from there, and we'll send that out to you. We also, yeah, we have members in Cincinnati and Akron, but yeah, we'll send that out to you. You can study along with us and learn, and just like if you're reading over something and have questions, or even just want to ask what it really means, you could just you could ask those too. When we meet, or you could call the temple phone number, and we could talk.
Okay.
Right, Islam. But yeah, that's for everybody here too. If you want to get the literature, the Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America has the Koran Questionnaire in it too. So it's like two in one. And then the Moorish literature book also is on there that has the different proclamations from the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Those are items that are open to the public, so anyone can order those. The Divine Constitution and bylaws and the nationality cards only for members. But just letting you know, you could order those and we ship those out, and you just click on Temple Store on the on MoorishAmericans.com. So just for sharing that for everybody. I'm gonna go ahead and yield the floor. If anyone has any questions or comments or would like to demonstrate, please feel free to speak. Islam.
Islam, first and foremost, I'd like to rise and give perfect praise to our Father God Allah, honest to his Prophet Noble Drew Ali, honest to the forerunner of the Prophet Marcus Mosiah Garvey, honors to the first appointed Supreme Grand Sheikh, our brother Emily Ill, and honors to everything Moorish, honors to all you Muslims here in attendance. Islam, I just want to say thank you for this demonstration, because we have to really ask ourselves some of the questions, and just to be honest with ourselves, ask ourselves like, if we really understand what Islam is, because Islam means peace, and peace is the key to happiness in all the societies. We have a measure, on peace being the happiness in our society, in every society. And peace is the building block of faith, because without peace, how could you have faith? Because the society that we live in doesn't build us up to have these better understandings of who we are and what peace is and who Allah is. So we have to learn and we have to understand. We have to live in peace, and we have to understand what Islam means, because our faith is Islamism, and that is the practice of peace. And we're responsible for peace in our own lives. So by practicing Islamism, we're learning to speak peace. We're learning to shift our thoughts towards peace. And that helps us to build the quality of our lives. So like, ask yourself, how many thoughts of peace do you have every day? How many thoughts of peace did you have today? Can you imagine some people walking around this world has not had one thought of peace today? That is a miserable person. That is how we say a toxic individual, and that is an unhappy woman. That's an unhappy man. Here we learn to practice peace, to practice Islamism. And the more that we learn and we learn to apply by practicing peace every day, the better our day to day will be. And then we'll start to see our lives shift. We'll start to see, just be more happy, because then we'll start to dodge the negativity. We see it coming because we're so focused on Allah and living in peace that whenever we see or feel something that is not in harmony with that peace, it kind of makes us weary. It kind of makes us like, run away from that. We don't want no parts of it. And that's when we start to be strong in our faith, because that desire for peace is going to be becoming more and more great. So we're going to start to alter our lives and walk towards, that peace. So it's like, oh, I don't want to party no more. I don't want to self-medicate. I don't want to smoke weed. I don't have to get drunk, because with the law, I feel the ultimate peace, and that's happiness. That's where our joy is. Once we really understand what this is and how to apply these lessons. So we should definitely be teaching our children this, having these conversations every day, having them with ourselves, because our speech comes from our thought. So if you don't have nothing nice to say, it's because you're not at peace with yourself. Islam, I yield the floor. Gratitude.
Islam. I was listening to the Supreme Grand Sheikh, Brother Kenu Bey, earlier today. He said something profound where he was just speaking on tending to our own garden, right? And it sounds simple, but it's so profound, because when we tend to our own garden, we're pulling our own weeds. We're working on our own selves, improving ourselves, looking at what we need to do to improve, to be better, to actually walk in our higher self, and for real in our thoughts, deeds, and actions, not just in name. And when we're doing that, we tend to be more compassionate with others, because we know we have our own flaws. We know we're not always thinking and acting from our higher self. So we're more compassionate and kinder with others. And I'm speaking to myself, saying this out loud, but I know I'm not the only one, because we're all having this human experience. So none of us is absolved from doing the work on our lower self. So when we're tending to our own garden, we have more compassion for others. We deal with others more in a more kinder fashion. As the sister was saying, peace, Islam, peace. So now we can actually be Muslims that live in peace, because it's not peaceful when we're attacking others, when we're putting others down, right? But if we're tending to our own garden, we're not even attacking anyone else, because we know we have flaws and we're working on it. And we're compassionate with others for that. And sometimes we're meaner to the people that are supposed to matter the most than we are to anyone on earth, which is insane. But that's not peace. It's the opposite of it. So we have to always do this work, Morris, and we have to on a regular basis. There's never any time to take off when it comes to working on our own lower self. And this isn't something that we can fake. It's not something that we go, oh, I'm wearing a fez, I'm wearing a turban, I'm holier than thou. Nah, you can't fake that stuff, right? We have to live it for real. And so just with sharing that, Islam, I yield the floor. If anyone has any questions or comments, please feel free to speak.
Islam, also, if no one else has anything to say, I wanted to ask for the brother who is calling in from Cincinnati, gratitude for attending the meeting this evening. If you can send your contact info for us to contact you after the meeting, that'll be perfectly wonderful, because we are having a physical meeting and a charity event here in Columbus on November the 24th. That's the Sunday before Thanksgiving. So we'll be passing out canned goods and meals to the families in the community for Thanksgiving. So definitely, if you're able or available to come out so that we could press hands. Islam.
I apologize. I had to mute. Yes. I'm close. You said it's gonna be in Akron or Columbus. Could you hear me?
It's in Columbus, Ohio.
Columbus. Okay. Uh, right now I don't get reliable transportation, but I could most definitely put it in the calendar to try to make it. But if not, that's the only reason because yeah, I don't get reliable transportation at this moment right now.
Islam, brother, it's all good. I put the flyer in the chat so you could take a screenshot of that so that you'll have that information. Islam.
Okay.
And if not, you're welcome to continue to join our cause and study with us, Islam.
All right. And majority of the meetings be in Columbus.
Islam, we have members all over the state of Ohio. So our majority of the meetings are on Zoom, to best fit everyone's needs who's not in the city. But our physical meetings are usually in Columbus, Ohio. But we do travel as a group to different locations around Ohio. And also we do group trips. Islam?
Oh, that's wonderful. So my sister, she said that, well, my sister is the one who got me connected with you guys. Her name is Ashley Bay. I'm from Chicago, Illinois. That's where I'm born and raised from. I came to Cincinnati when I was 15. I'm 26 right now. Got two kids. My kids are in Chicago with my mom right now. Oh, so my sister got me connected with two guys. I told her about me reading while I've been was incarcerated, and then it's crazy. She was like she had a lot going on. Her name is Ashley Bay. I don't know if if you guys are familiar with her.
Islam, yes. We know Ashley Bay. We were just in Chicago at convention with the sister. Praise Allah.
Yes, praise a lot, blessings.
So yeah, we all family, brother. Gratitude for sharing the information and continue to do the work on yourself and continue studying the prophet and the divine and holy instructions with us. And all will be well, Islam.
All right, thank you. Likewise.
And peace and love.
All right, gratitude for sharing, brother. Brother David, so I just sent you a message. Can you check that out and respond back? Um, Also, I know the brother from Akron is on the call. Would you please chime in? Just let us know your name or how to pronounce your name. Also, if you have any questions, you feel free to ask those as well. Islam. I didn't want to mispronounce your name. Is it Yvonne?
Oh, hey, how you doing? I'm sorry. We said Akron. I'm from Columbus, Ohio. I live in Columbus.
Okay,
I'm sorry,
okay.
bro.
Yeah, okay. I thought you were in Akron. Islam. Okay, good, good. So yeah, did you have any questions or comments? And please let us know how to say your name, brother.
My name is Yavan Muldrow. It's my name is French. My whole name is Yavan Lee Fouché Muldrow. And I was just trying to get further understanding and learn a little bit more about our roots, our heritage, and everything. And I was just sitting there just soaking everything up and absorbing. But is the calls every Sunday and Friday?
Yes, that's right. Every Sunday, Friday at 7. Sac passe?
It's about Sinambule.
All right, good to meet you, brother. Yeah, my wife's
It's
Haitian,
gonna
so yeah, yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Um,
Now, feel free to speak,
I'm
brother.
not
Go
Haitian,
ahead.
but I know a lot. I know a lot of people that are Haitian that speak Creole, but but no, but yeah, I mean, I'm looking further to come to the actual temple to meet
Right.
with everybody in person.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, it's easy for us to meet since you're in the city. We don't
Hmm.
have a temple building yet. We're working on that. So that's,
Okay.
that's one of our next goals to get a actual building. But
Okay.
we can meet up. We can just talk on the side. Like I believe I responded to your message with the temple phone number. You can just call maybe tomorrow, and
Okay.
figure out when's the best time to link up.
Okay. Most definitely. I'll reach out to you tomorrow, give you a call, and we can set up a date and anything like that.
All right, perfect.
But thanks for having me on the call. I appreciate it. But yeah, I'll give you a call. Your name? Sorry, timed out on me. Loyal. Douglas L.
Yeah, Lloyd Douglas L.
Okay. Lloyd. Okay. Lloyd. Okay. There you go.
Yeah.
Lloyd Douglas. Okay. But yeah, I'm your van. It's nice to meet you. But I will give you. I see. Would it better for a call or a text?
Yeah, either one, whichever works better for you. You
Okay.
can text that number. Yeah.
Okay. I will. I'll shoot you a text first, and then we can set up a call, and we can go from there.
All right, Islam. Sounds good.
Islam.
Okay. All right. Before we go into the closing of the meeting, just one last time, I'm gonna open up the floor for questions or comments. I don't think we have any announcements, so if anybody has anything to say, please feel free to speak. All right. There's no questions or comments. One announcement without further ado. We're going to go into the closing of the meeting. Before we read our divine warning, just want to ask all the officers, make sure you check out the chat. There's a question posed in there regarding the meetings next week. Please, we have some volunteers chime in. On that note, we're going to go ahead and read our divine warning. A divine warning by the prophet for the nations. The citizens of all free national governments, according to their national constitution, are all of one family bearing one free national name. Those who fail to recognize the free national name of their constitutional government are classed as undesirables and are subject to all inferior names and abuses and mistreatments that the citizens care to bestow upon them. And it is a sin for any group of people to violate the national constitutional laws of a free national government and cling to the names and the principles that delude to slavery. I, the prophet, was prepared by the great God Allah to warn my people to repent from their sinful ways and go back to the state of mind, to their forefathers' divine and national principles, that they will be law abiders and receive their divine right as citizens according to the free national constitution that was prepared for all free national beings. They are to claim their own free national name and religion. There is but one issue for them to be recognized by this government and of the earth, and it comes only through the connection of the Moorish Divine National Movement, which is incorporated in this government and recognized by all other nations of the world. And through it, they and their children can receive their divine rights, unmolested by other citizens, that they can cast a free national ballot at the polls under the free national constitution of the state's government, and not under a granted privilege, as has been the existing condition for many generations. You who doubt whether I, the prophet, and my principles are right for the redemption of my people, go to those that know the law in the city hall and among the officials in your government, and ask them under an intelligent tone, and they will be glad to render you a favorable reply. For they are glad to see me bring you out of darkness into light. Money doesn't make the man. It is free national standards and power that makes a man and a nation. The wealth of all national governments, gold and silver and commerce, belong to the citizens alone. And without your national citizenship, by name and principles, you have no true wealth. And I am hereby calling on all true citizens that stand for a national free government and the enforcement of the Constitution to help me in my great missionary work, because I need all support from all true American citizens of the United States of America. Help me to save my people who have fallen from the constitutional laws of the government. I am depending on your support to get them back to the constitutional fold again, that they will learn to love instead of hate, and will live according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, supporting our free national Constitution of the United States of America. I love my people, and I desire their unity and mine back to their own free national and divine standard, because day by day they have been violating the national and constitutional laws of their government by claiming names and principles that are unconstitutional. If Italians, Greeks, English, Chinese, Japanese, Turks, and Arabians are forced to proclaim their free national name and religion before the constitutional government of the United States of America, it is no more than right that the law should be enforced upon all other American citizens alike. In all other governments, when a man is born and raised there and asks for his national descent name, and if he fails to give it, he is misused, imprisoned, or exiled. Any group of people that fail to answer up to the constitutional standards of law by name and principles, because to be a citizen of any government, you must claim your national descent name, because they place their trust upon issue and names formed by their forefathers. The word Negro deludes in the Latin language to the word nigger, the same as the word colored deludes to anything that is painted, varnished, and dyed. And every nation must bear a national descent name of their forefathers, because honoring thy fathers and thy mothers, your days will be lengthened upon this earth. These names have never been recognized by any true American citizens of this day. Through your free national name, you are known and recognized by all nations of the earth that are recognized by said national government in which they live. The 14th and 15th Amendments brought the North and South in unit, placing the Southerners, who were at that time without power, with the constitutional body of power. And at that time, 1865, the free national constitutional law that was in force since 1774 declared all men equal and free. And if all men are declared by the free national constitution to be free and equal, since that constitution has never been changed, there is no need for the application of the 14th and 15th Amendments for the salvation of our people and citizens. So, there isn't but one supreme issue for my people to use to redeem that which was lost, and that is through the above statements. Then the lion and the lamb can lie down together in yonder hills, and neither will be harmed, because love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice will be reigning in this land. In those days, the United States will be one of the greatest civilized and prosperous governments of the world. But if the above principles are not carried out by the citizens and my people in this government, the worst is yet to come. Because the great God of the universe is not pleased with the works that are being performed in North America by my people, and this great sin must be removed from the land to save it from enormous earthquakes, disease, etc. And I, the prophet, do herein believe that this administration of the government, being more wisely prepared by more genius citizens that believe in their free national constitution and laws, and through the help of such classes of citizens, I, the prophet, truly believe that my people will find the true and divine way of their forefathers and learn to stop serving carnal customs and merely ideas of man that have never done them any good but have always harmed them. So I, the prophet, am hereby calling aloud with the divine plea to all true American citizens to help me to remove this great sin which has been committed and is being practiced by my people in the United States of America, because they know it is not the true and divine way, and without understanding they have fallen from the true light into utter darkness of sin. And there is not a nation on earth today that will recognize them socially, religiously, politically, or economically, etc., in their present condition of their endeavorment in which they themselves try to force upon a civilized world. They will not refrain from their sinful ways of action, and their deeds have brought Jim Crowism, segregation, and everything that brings harm to human beings on earth. And they fought the Southerner for all these great misuses, but I have traveled in the South and have examined conditions there, and it is the works of my people continuously practicing the things which bring dishonor, disgrace, and disrespect to any nation that lives the life. And I am hereby calling on all true American citizens for moral support and finance to help me in my great missionary work to bring my people out of darkness into marvelous light. From the Prophet. All right, Islam Moors, we have just read the divine warning. We're going to go ahead and close out. Before we do so, though, I do want to put the call out there for new members, for if there are any Asiatics that would like to join and proclaim your nationality. Please, first, make sure you go to MoorishAmericans.com and use the contact information on there to reach out to us. You can fill out that contact form. We will get back in touch with you. But really, you should make sure you take down that phone number. Call the temple. We will talk. We will more than likely have to meet up or at least talk, if you're in another city. But we will need to, to actually talk to you. Okay? So, and that's for anyone who's ready or feels like you're ready to join and proclaim your nationality. Then also want to put the call out there for those who would like to assist us in the great work of uplifting fallen humanity. Make sure to go to the same website, MoorishAmericans.com. Just scroll down to the bottom and send a donation to the temple. You can use that QR code, or really be better if you use the donate button. Just use that donate button, click on that, and you can send a donation straight to the temple. And we would appreciate it. And on that note, Moors, we're going to go ahead and close out. But before I do, just want to remind Moors, make sure if you're not meditating at least once a day to start doing so. All right. Give yourself anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes to quiet your mind. The best way to get started is just focus on your breathing. Let's make sure we're doing that at least once a day, Moors. Islam, all meetings are to be open and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Everyone who is able to, please stand and face the east for the closing prayer. You do not need to repeat after me, Moors. We stand with our heels together, feet at a 45-degree angle, holding up 2 fingers on the right and 5 on the left. Allah, bind our hearts and minds back to our ancient forefathers' divine creed and principles. We ask this in thy holy name in the Seven Elohim. Amen. Islam, peace and love, Moors. This meeting is now adjourned.
Islam, peace and love.
Peace and love.
Islam, peace and love.
Peace and love is on.